Hello everyone and welcome. This is Kim Beegler, owner of Ewethful Fiber Farm and Mill, and I'm sitting here with a bunch of dyed wool that I am getting ready to take to the back to the wool mill to card up. If you are new, welcome. If you are returning, also welcome. I always love to start my episodes nowadays with a reminder or hey, the Ewethful community is an inclusive community, meaning that distraction by my cat, meaning that all sexes are welcome here, all gender identities are welcome here, all skin colors are welcome here, all religions, all social economic standing, we are all welcome here. We are all equal, and that is the vibe that is in this community. So if that jives with your vibe, welcome. And let's talk about some wool. And this is Wish. If you are new, she is the mill cat and she loves to get on the lap whenever she can. So I am working on these Shetland. We're doing a spin to knit along. So hand spinners, if you love a good along, we're doing this. So we are going to be working, I'll talk a little bit about the end, about the pattern and everything, but this is all Shetland wool. There are, I think, 5 or 6 colors total that have been dyed, that I dyed up in the wool. And if you want to see some of that, you can go to some of the most recent past episodes. I think I was doing a little dyeing in those. And if you, no, not if you, there are, I think, 4 natural colors as well. So I have been busy, like I had Amy here at Mill Day making some kit ideas online in the Patreon community. People were throwing out ideas for different ways to play with the colors for this pattern. And I finally put, I think, 7 kit ideas up on Patreon today. They get access to purchasing them tomorrow on Wednesday, which may be a day after this. I don't know when this is going to go out. And then it will go to the website, and the newsletter, those on the newsletter will get kind of early notice that stuff is going up there. So if you're not on the newsletter, jump into the show notes and over to my website and get in there. And if you're interested in the Patreon community, come join, because they got to have they know the pattern, they know what we're doing. We've talked about it a lot over in there, and they have helped a lot with colors and all that stuff. So very exciting. This spin to knit along will be a 2-ply fingering weight. So I'm challenging everybody to try to get out of your comfort zone if that's not your comfort zone. And I'll talk a little bit about, as we get closer to it, ways to practice so that you can try to get that yarn gauge, and ways you can maneuver your spinning wheel to make it easier for you. So, okay, we are going to head to the back now that Wish is so comfortable, and let's get to carding. I've got the gold on right now, then goes the orange, then goes the maroon, and then we've got the blues and blue and greens that'll go up next. So today I'm hoping to at least get through the gold and the orange. Everything has been picked. So I washed this. Actually, I cold soaked most of it. Then I washed it. Then I dyed it in the wool. Oops, there goes my microphone. And then picked it, conditioned it, now it's ready for the carder. So if you are wondering why the cost of wool when you get it from small local mills is more, that is why. And that's not even getting it to yarn. So let's head to the back and let's get some carding going. Okay, so we are at the carder and we are working on the gold first. I already have I gotta turn it on. I already have the first bit, sorry you all. I already have the first bit started up. I haven't actually run much, but I did get it started. I'm gonna run back over now. Okay, so again, I don't have my favorite microphone, so I'm gonna try to talk loud, and we're using my not so favorite microphone, but we have got it lined up. It will be coming out on the other side as roving, and I am just feeding it into the carder. It needs a little extra opening, and I can see that there's, some second cuts in here. So there's going to be a smidge of pilling in this fiber. I did do a sample spin and easily picked out if you want, or just leave it in there and ignore it. It's your yarn, so whatever. Just because of this yarn being a finer wool Shetland, They are a little bit harder to shear cleanly, and then just the fiber is more delicate because it's a fine wool. I mean, that's part of the nature of fine wool. So I am just kind of evenly distributing this out onto the carder, and as soon as I get this batch done, we'll head over. And one of the colors, the other colors, if you haven't seen them all, is like the sweater I'm wearing, basically. There's a very fall vibe. The patrons got to choose kind of the last colors, and it was a very fall vibe going. So that is what it is here. Let's go down to come around and pick you up. You can see, but going into the, and then if we walk around, here comes the roving out. It is pretty darn happy and will make for a great pop color. So there it is, coiling in. I am going to do a little push down. It is so stinking humid that everything is parting up beautifully. That actually looks really stunning. So let's go over to the other side here as long as I have time. By time, I mean I just want to make sure that I can, oh look, there's Hallmark in the background. You're probably not supposed to watch that. Oh my gosh, advertising. Okay, let's take a peek inside. Yes, I do watch Hallmark in the background. So there it is coming out, going in, and I need to get a little more going. So I'm gonna do that, and we'll move on to the next color. Actually, you're welcome to stay and watch me do this. It's just the microphone that is causing me hesitation right now. Go over one more time. Oh, so good. That is one happy color. Okay, we've got to move to the next one. All right, we are on color 2 for the day. So this is the burnt orange. This was like far and away the color that when I gave kind of the first colors out and all asked Patreon to help out, my Patreon subscribers, and this was far and away the winner for one of the colors. So this is a burnt orange that, whew, when I did a sample of it, and I did a sample on some merino top, just white merino top. Then I went to dye this, and it was just coming out a little more red, and last minute I was able to kind of get the right amount of orange in. I think part of it was I could have been more precise in my notes. And part of it was just that this is a different fiber. This is Shetland, and it has a little bit of gray to it. So I was doing a little bit of over dyeing as well, as far as like there's a color already to the wool, and so then you're adding dye on top of that, so you're over dyeing it. So anyway, it turned out the exact same color as the sample that we all enjoyed. So I was very excited about that. And I'm just lining this up. This is the very beginning of it. So I'm gonna turn this on, and we're gonna go get it lined up as roving. It's exciting. I think this is gonna be gorgeous fibers. And this is a blend of this Washington Farm and Ewethful Shetland. So that's exciting. So I'm gonna weigh out some fiber while that you can kind of watch it going in there. Weigh out the next batch just so I've got it ready. And we're gonna go get the roving deck started up. So hop over here. Off of my way, of course. Here comes the first bit of it off the carder. stop it in a minute and we'll get it all lined out. That's probably enough. We're just trying to get a nice little web. And I'll get out of the way here. So here's the first, here it is coming out. There's a little bit of gold in there, but we're gonna let that. And I did do a quick clean on the machine between because this is going to be annoying with this microphone. I apologize. I can and will do better. But I just had my sister in town visiting, and so was busy over the weekend doing lots of stuff with family. This is not the right cord here, so let me pull it back out. I have two, and I don't know why I don't move this one. This one's actually for my draw frame. And the one for this machine is longer. So all I'm doing is feeding it into this hole here, and then feeding it through the draw frame so I can attach the fiber to it, and it will pull through the roving deck. We've got that lined up. Probably you could hear me better now if I just, all right, so I'm going to attach the fiber and then we're going to get this rolling. Okay, we are ready to see how this rolls. Looking good. I like to see you all. And just going to drop it straight in. Ah, so good. Oh, it's so good. Okay, let's go over to the other side. I took the microphone off for this part because it's just easier. So here we are going in. I got a little bit more of it lined up. Go around the other side and take a peek inside. It's carding up beautifully. Open her up. My hands are safely far away. And there it is. Running through the carder. Hurrah! So, I'm going to go ahead. That's showing up a little more orange than red, but that's all right. It's going to be gorgeous. Okay, onward we shall go to the next color. Okay, well, we are, I think, on the last color for today. We'll see how this one goes, how much energy I have got. Well, here's one of the other colors right here in case you've missed it. And there is also a moss green. They are both picked, conditioned, and ready for the carder, but I may run out of steam to do them today. That's okay. It's getting a little later. And so they'll get done in the next day or two. But we are at the carder again with the maroon now. And I already am going to shut the door here, which Wish was enjoying all afternoon, evening sun. So I'm just doing the same thing. Laying it out. This has been dyed in the wool. It's been conditioned and picked, and then conditioned is the order that I do that in. And in case you haven't watched before, I do have a blog. I have not written on it lately, but there is a link in the show notes to get to a conditioning recipe for if you are trying to condition wool at home. And it helps to keep the static down. And it also helps to, I'm going to turn this on. It's like, are we on? Okay. It also helps to just condition the fiber like it would do with when we condition our hair. So, okay. We're going to go down the end and see. I'm going to let you watch that go in there while I get my next step made out. And we'll head down and go look at what's going on. Sorry, you all. So, here we come. Starting to come off. As soon as there's enough there, I'll grab it. And we'll get this last color for the day going. Probably is enough there. So we'll pull what's on the ground and toss it back in. And I did do a quick little clean in between. And we're ready to go.
So I'm gonna get this loaded up and I'll let you see what it looks like. Okay, here we go. There is the beginning of our maroon. I'm gonna let it run for just a minute. I'm here. There it is on the ground. And we'll go ahead and throw that back in. Start up right there. Ooh, that shows up brown, but I think you got a better idea of the color over here. It's a really nice deep burgundy. A quick moment. Say hello to the Shetlands who have sacrificed some of their wool. As you can see, it's okay because it comes right back. They have already eaten. They have plenty of grass. Yet they think they want hay, which they're not. You tell them. That's Jojo. Hi guys. Okay. There you go. That's Dolly P. There she is. She's got such a beautiful face, and look at that wool coming in on her. Oh, it's gorgeous. Here's Dahlia. All right, everyone. I thought they should make an appearance on these highly Shetland episodes. Onward, back to the mill. All right, next color. There's just a tiny bit of this pink, and this is a color that got vetoed when it didn't get vetoed. I shouldn't say that, but I put up some colors on Patreon and said, what are we feeling? And because the other colors were more popular, the pink didn't get dyed up anymore. And interestingly enough, as is always kind of interesting to watch people respond to colors, the kit that has the pink in it was one of the first ones to sell out. So it's always interesting to see, you know, a lot of it is seasonal. Who knows? I'm sure the endless amounts of psychology that have been done behind color. Picking colors, what colors we wear, what colors we like versus what we, you know, all the things. I'm gonna start this up. So there's just a tiny bit of this pink. And the kits went up on, for Patreon yesterday, and they did an amazing job. I think there's going to be more though for the website. I was hoping that I had made enough that my patrons could get what they wanted, and then there'd be some to go up on the website. So I'll be working on that. If you're not on the newsletter, get on the newsletter because they're going to get notice when the kits are going up. So if you have colors you like, definitely get on that list. And Wish is here wanting to go out, so I'm going to open the door for her real quick because it's sunny, and then we're going to go take a peek on the other end. So we should be webbing off here. Yes, we definitely are. I'm going to stop the machine and see if I can. So there is our bubblegum pink. I think it was flamingo is the color. And I'm going to get this loaded up, and we'll run this tiny bit, and I'm hoping we can get the rest of the colors done in this episode. If not, we may be missing the teal, but that is how it is. So I'm going to load this up, and then we'll take a peek at it. All right, let's watch this pink happen. I'm very excited about it. I'm going to have to dye up some other fiber in this pink because I think it's such a fun color. And there it is coming out. There's a big chunk from something else. So I am going to grab a bucket. Our buckets are getting full. I'm running out of buckets. I gotta start putting kits together so I can empty some of these buckets out, but that's how it looks. Let's take a peek on the other end. I've got to get more loaded up. You can see it going in. Oh, I just really love that color. Okay, I'm gonna finish this tiny last little bit, and then we'll be on to, those are our last two colors. Hurrah! Okay, moving on to the moss green, and I'm excited about this. I'll bring you in a little closer because this kind of broke. This was actually just the dye color was moss, but the way it broke was different, and that can happen depending on, it's just how it breaks. That meaning like how the mixed colors, when they hit the water and when they hit the fiber, how the colors kind of can separate out. And it was a little different depending on the pot because I'm not always using a stainless pot, which when you're doing dyed in the wool, doesn't really matter if the colors aren't perfect unless you really need them to be. But because you're blending it all after the fact, not as big of a deal. So I am gonna start this up. I just saw Wishy pass. I just wanna make sure she's not anywhere that'll freak her out. And we'll get this going. And then we just have one more color. How much can we possibly dye? Card in one episode, you all. This is exciting. And this is why I kind of like, before I went on vacation, had made an attempt to get as much dyed and picked before I could. Well, actually just to get as much done. But I really wanted to have it so that I could just kind of roll through carding because it's just an easier place to be. So I'm just doing what I always do, getting it separated out while the machine kind of gets going for a minute here. It takes a minute or two for fiber to start settling into the carder, and then we'll go to the other end and get it started up. And then I'm gonna go have lunch, and then we're going to finish up. Here comes our green coming off. So I am going to stop the machine, grab a little bunch. You guys could do this all if you know, needed. If I take a vacation, you all could probably run the mill by now. Just by watching me do this 1 million times, right? If you've been watching for years, which is crazy, I just got a notice that it's been 5 years that I have been on YouTube, which I don't think I really started heavy until probably 6 months or so into the first year, or maybe the year, but we've been on here a solid 4 years at least, like maybe not every week, but if you go back and start from the beginning, much like the business, YouTube has, I've pivoted it. Okay, it keeps getting caught up in the end here. Let's see if I can get it in. Nope. Sometimes it will get a little bit bent on the end, like so. And then oddly enough, it doesn't go through. So on the TV today in the background, in case you don't get a glimpse, it's Hallmark. But it's Hallmark Movies and Mysteries today because it's, you know, the day before Halloween. And it's already Christmas in Hallmarkville, so we were watching a little Halloween, which we did lots of Halloweening when my sister was in town this past week, going to a pumpkin patch, riding on the hayride. We went to like a walking tour in Eugene. That was like, or not Eugene, Corvallis. That was like old time history of murders and such. I know that wasn't the most exciting view. Anyway, I've got my Halloween fill, and now I'll get my Hallmark Halloween fill. And we'll get moving. Okay, let's get this color going. Now I'll take you back after we get this out so you can kind of see how that color breakage that I was talking about. Oh, you all, stop it. That's showing up probably a smidge darker than it actually is. I don't even think I have a bin right now. I may have to pause you all, but let's go back over. I'm gonna stop this so I can track down, see if I have any more bins anywhere. Have I showed you this today? Look at this. Stop it, the pink's in there. Ah, very exciting. Never gets old for me either, but I just wanted to show you this breakage I was talking about. And not the fiber, but you can see how this is a little more teal, a little more green, and that's just how the color broke once it got into the pot and hit the fiber. So there you go. And if, because I dye not worried about it, I put the citric acid in first so the fiber will pick up. If I had put the fiber in, put the dye, like done a slow burn on the dye, not actual burn, you all, but anyway, that's for another episode. I've talked about that before. Okay, let's get on to the last color. All right, final color. I cannot believe it. You all, I just looked over at all the colors and I'm pretty proud of myself. It's not often that I step back and go, wow, that's pretty awesome. But I'm trying to have one of those moments. Rather than just rushing, I'm trying to have one of those moments and appreciate the work that I have done here and how lovely it all turned out and just how awesome this community is for the support along the way and the buying of the kits and all. Y'all are amazing. So thank you for supporting this little project here, and I'm excited to start this spin along. And so the pattern that we are working on is the Hapkerchief by Gudrun Johnston, and there's 4 colors in it. The kits were kind of pieced together from lots of input. I used Gudrun Johnston's inspiration for a couple of the kits from the pattern, and it's a 2-ply. So she uses Jameson of Shetland Spindrift. That's a 2-ply fingering weight yarn. So that's what we will, if you choose to spin along with us, we're going to goal to spin to that weight. You don't have to, but the kits are designed for that. And that's what we're going to goal to, so that, as I've kind of mentioned, that we can, those of you that haven't really played with tension and things like that on your wheel can get a little more learning in about how to make your wheel work for you, which is something that I am big on when I teach. Pattern. Okay, so we're hoping, the plan is to start it on Saturday, November 15th. So that's why I was trying to get the kits out right now, so I've got plenty of time for them to hit the mail and get to people in time to start this. And most likely I will do a Zoom, like a live Zoom. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work. And if I can get my act together, I will start a Ravelry group for it. You may have to remind me to do that. But yes, and there will be, of course, gifts at the end. And so I already have a few of the gifts in mind. And anyway, it's very exciting. So the Hapkerchief, the kits do not include the pattern, but because, you know, it's pretty easy. You can go to her website, you can go to Ravelry and get the pattern there. And it's just so easy these days. If that's not accessible to you and you are looking to get the pattern, I can help make that happen as well. So you can always reach out to me. Okay. Yes, there we are. So we're doing something a little different because that last color was so similar, like not similar at all, but because there was that teal in it, what I've done was just a quick clean of the rollers up front. And there is still a little roving. My goal was to not have to feed the roving deck again. So let's go see what's happening over here. And you can see there's just a little bit of roving clinging on here. And my hope is that this fiber, this teal, will start fast enough that I don't have to reconnect, but it may not. It may not. And this green is pretty much off the machine. So as soon as, if it connects, it's gonna run through pretty quick. Let's see what happens. This is touch and go. There is not much fiber left in there. So let's see if it can pull it off for me. I don't think so. Oh, it's trying, you all. I'm just watching the end here. Oh man, this is gonna be close. Oh, it might do it. So you see how thin that roving is right now? It is like barely coming off the carder. But I think we're getting the teal now. Here it comes. This was one of my favorite parts when I did do a lot more blending, was when the colors would start to blend together. So now you're starting to see that teal coming through. So I'll let this run for a minute, and I'm actually gonna pull the majority of that out. We'll push the gray to the side, let this run for a minute, and then break it. And I just want it to get a little bit thicker, but that was just one cheater way. And now you can see you don't really see the green anymore. It was pretty much done. And we're on to this color. Ooh, la la. So you can see how they're not the same. But that one color was a little bit, there you go. Those are beautiful together. I think one of the kits has those together. Okay, I am going to let this go now into a bin. We'll go to the other side. We'll take one last peek in the carter. Ooh, ooh. And we're gonna finish these kits up and start getting them in the mail. Sorry, that wasn't a very pretty filming. Let's go ahead and peek inside. This color is always a huge hit. With me as well, one of my faves. Okay, you all, let's go sit and chat for a few minutes before this episode ends. We did it, hurrah.
Hey everyone. Okay, it's time to finish this up. And I'm not gonna spin because, look, it's all right there. There's the colors for y'all to enjoy. A little bit in the, you can't see them in all their glory, but they're here. I think I have talked enough about the kits, right? Get on the newsletter if you're not in the Patreon community, and I will send out an email saying the kits are coming on this day, and then I'll send out an email saying they're there. So if you haven't, you can go to the show notes. You can find links to the Patreon community, to my website to join the newsletter, all of those things. The pattern is not included. I think I said that, but you can find it on Ravelry, or I think PayHip is another spot that Gudrun Johnston has her pattern. So there are ways to buy it. And if it's not accessible to you, like I said earlier, reach out. I think that's that. Soapbox time. Okay, here's my thoughts for the week. I was listening to a podcast, I can't remember which one, and they were discussing, they just said in passing, our country was built on oppression. Fair, and it's the history of our country, right? It's still the history of our country, no matter how things are changed or rewritten or whatever. It is the history of our country. And right now it feels a bit like we're just like digging deep back into those roots though. And that's not to say that there weren't many that are still oppressed in this country, but we were progressing forward. And now we have hit a roadblock and we're going backwards hard. And it's hard for everybody watching. And it's not only just like civil rights and human rights, it's the basics, right? It's coming down to like food, shelter, and healthcare in the richest country in the world, supposedly. The most powerful, wonderful, all the things. But are we anymore? We may be the richest, but I don't know that we're the greatest at this moment. The government shutdown is about the Affordable Care Act subsidies, right? Like we all are getting kickback. All those of us that are paying for our health insurance get credits, and those credits have amounted to making healthcare more affordable for a lot of people. And those are set to expire and not be continued, which is why the Democrats are standing up finally and saying, we can't keep moving forward with this administration. There needs to be negotiation. People need healthcare, and a lot of people will be pushed out of healthcare if these credits don't continue. We ourselves, we haven't gotten the notice yet. I think we probably could look because it sounds like it's already out there, but we're expecting ours to at least double, which will put us around $1,000 a month for 2 people. No kids, nothing. That's a lot of money. And we were at, I think, 900 before we started getting more credits, and it dropped us down at least by half. So it's going to be, a lot of people are going to lose their health care. And we already know Medicaid's being slashed. And then we come up against this SNAP thing. And apparently we have an administration that is willing to use food as a tool to try to bully, you would say negotiate, but that doesn't seem the right word, right? It's actually to bully Democrats into voting to end the shutdown. And there is money set aside for situations such as this so that SNAP funding, which SNAP is food stamps, right? It helps people that need extra help buying food get that extra help. It gives them money to buy food. And I looked up, I think I was on the AARP website, and they had an article, and it was talking about this amounts to, for people that are enrolled in it, it's the average is $6 per adult per day. $6. Like, think of the last thing that a lot of us spent $6 on. Think of the last thing anybody in our administration spent $6. They wouldn't even know what they spent $6 on. That's probably toilet paper to them, honestly. So this is now become a tool, food, like one of the most basic necessities, food, shelter, healthcare, to try to bully the Democrats. And it's not working. I mean, we're seeing that Democrats are stepping up and sending money in to make sure. We're seeing a lot of people stepping up to make sure that those benefits somehow get met for people, because we are all humans. We need these things. And the most disgusting part to me is when you look at the $300 million bill to add this ballroom to our White House. And I think $300 million donated, so that makes it okay. Well, how about if that $300 million was donated to feed, house, and healthcare people? So speaking of donations, I know you're all outraged with me. It doesn't make sense. And I wanted to read because I was on the websites of our government, and I have not been there in a while because I haven't needed to. I am lucky enough to have not needed to. But I went to the USDA, which is kind of centered around the SNAP, and there's a banner at the top, and it reads, Senate Democrats have now voted 13 times to not fund the food stamp program, also known as SNAP. Bottom line, the well has run dry. But has it? Because $300 million is going to build a ballroom. Much less the insane amount of other money being spent it's endless, right? At this time, there will be no benefits issued November 1st. Because the well has run dry. We are approaching an inflection point for Senate Democrats. And here's the kicker. They can continue to hold out for health care for illegal aliens and gender mutilation procedures, or reopen the government so mothers, babies, and the most vulnerable among us can receive critical nutrition assistance. Just gonna let you sit on that. That's what a government website in the United States says. Let's click to, I can't touch it on my computer, silly. Department of Treasury. The radical left has chosen to shut down the United States government in the name of reckless spending and obstructionism. As a result, the U.S. Department of Treasury's websites will only be sporadically updated. Okay. Department of Health and Human Services. This is the last one I'm going to share. And it comes up with a banner when you click on this. Mission critical activities of HHS will continue during the Democratic-led shutdown. Please use this site as a resource as the Trump administration works to reopen the government for the American people. Let me show you the photo. Oh my God. If that doesn't make you want to vomit. So donate, y'all. Donate to any food bank anywhere you possibly can. Send them money. Go on websites, go buy and drop off a check, do what you can if you can, because this is disgusting. And make sure you're getting out there, you're speaking up, you're voting when the time comes, and you're going to rallies, and you're doing whatever you can do that you feel safe in your environment to do. And if not, just know in your head that you are feeling all the things and you are empathetic to all the people. All right, there's our soapbox for this week. I think this room keeps me a little calmer. Maybe I should soapbox in here. Until next week, everybody, stay healthy. Be kind to your neighbor. Just because our administration does not show any empathy anymore doesn't mean that we can't do it ourselves, and that we should do it ourselves, and that we should help everybody around us and try to be as kind as we possibly can, because we don't know our neighbors' stories. And make so many pretty things. I'm so excited to get some test spinning done. All right, you all, thank you so much for staying till the end. I appreciate every single one of you, and I hope to hear from you or see you in the community soon. Thank you.